guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. And this story, this is definitely the crazy story of the week. For you guys that like the crazy stories, definitely listen up. This is about a guy. He is sharing the story of his friend. Both he and his friend are viewers of the channel, and he got permission to send me this story about how his friend went through this experience sometime back where his girlfriend of like 9 years or something, live-in girlfriend, he discovered that she was cheating on him. But here's the thing. It wasn't just with one guy or many guys at different times. It was with many guys in a situation all at the same time. There's a word for that. It's called gang somethings, which I can't say here because YouTube is psycho about that stuff, but you know what I'm talking about here. And pretty much after discovering all the lying and all this horrible crap, he definitely devises a plan to get even with her because she was about to make things even worse for him. So it's an interesting, it's a good little payback story. And again, it's one of these crazy stories that show you that like truth is stranger than fiction. Now I will say this, there are a couple things in this story that definitely has me kind of shaking my head saying, is this all 100% accurate? I gotta be fair here. But like I said, you just never know. But anyhow, guys, I'm going to jump right into it. Oh, and by the way, for you guys that like crazy stories all the time for pure entertainment purposes, definitely check out my new channel. It's called They Did What. It is a channel completely dedicated to crazy, entertaining types of stories. While over here on SSM, it is all, you get news articles, personal, talking about self-improvement, bettering your lives and all that, and a whole variety. Over there, it's just entertaining, crazy stories for you guys that like that type of stuff. That way I can separate the two. So definitely check it out. I'll post a link in the description as well as above the comments. So, on to this guy's story. He says, my buddy, who listened to some of your blogs, said I could forward his story of what happened to him a few years back, as long as I don't mention any names in it. Well, bro, your name's your secret safe with me. He says, here it is, and we thought Jerry Springer was bad. Yeah, this is right up there with Mr. Jerry. He says, my buddy was with his woman for about 9 years, when he later found out that she was sneaking around with some old guy who was a couple of years younger than her father, but with a surprising twist. So she's a horrible cheater with daddy issues. To avoid making this a run-on with a long drawn-out on details, I will just put some short-to-the-point elements without going on endlessly. Anyhow, his live-in girlfriend told my buddy that she was going for the weekend to her girlfriend's cottage about a 4-hour drive away. That weekend, my buddy on Saturday went to the mall to shop, and across the hall, he saw the friend of his girlfriend who owns the cottage walking into the store. My friend never bothered to catch up with the woman and never said a word to let either of them know that he was aware they were not together that weekend. Well, small world, he happens to run into her at the mall and see obviously his girlfriend was full of crap. It was learned later the weekend that she was with some older retired biker that was 24 years older and 2 years younger than her father. That weekend he had a party and invited many other biker friends, mostly younger. As the night went on, she got drunk to the point where her biker, snuck around. The biker snuck around. The boyfriend convinced her to allow his friends to all take turns having relations with her. Wow, she sounds like a church girl. When it was all over, she got loaded up with at least 26, you get the point, in her, not counting those that came back for seconds or more. 26. As she returned back home this Sunday night, my buddy was heading out of town to work for a couple weeks. It turned out the next day, Monday, so she was pissed of what she did, supposedly according to her later. That for the time my buddy was out of town working, she posted an ad on some dating site, and for 8 days straight, she'd meet up with a different guy each day, some days 2 different guys in one early afternoon and later at night, and go back to their place and have you-know-what with them. Oh, so the weekend with 26 other dudes doing their business wasn't enough for her. So when he was away for a week and she was mad at him because he went away for business, she then posted a thing on the online dating thing and got more dudes to come along because that wasn't enough sausage for her. Yeah, this girl's got serious problems. And I want to know, was this stuff going on the entire time this guy was with her? I mean, there's no way that something like this wasn't. I mean, unbelievable. He says, when my friend when my friend was away at work, out of town, little did his girlfriend know that he was able to see what was going on when she would go on his laptop, not hers. She was doing this on his laptop. How stupid is that? Now, why didn't he bring his laptop with? Wouldn't he bring his laptop with him to work unless he has a business laptop and a personal laptop? I have to point that out. That was one question of mine. He was also able to see what she was doing online, who and what was talked about and arranged. As he put on his own laptop some network and a screen capture software that he leaves at home, that she took it upon herself to use when he was not around. At this time, though, he had no idea about the older biker or the on-the-side boyfriend. He knew there was someone and something going on, just not to what magnitude. Well, if he suspected something was going on, why didn't this guy just break up with her? There's a question. About 6 weeks went by since the girls' weekend, and my buddy was quietly planning an exit strategy from their relationship without having any idea. Well, if they weren't married, he could just leave. Unless she was living with him for a long time and it was considered a common law marriage, which I have to wonder about. Which, by the way, I warn you guys many times, don't live with your girlfriend for lots of reasons. That's one of them. You spend enough time living together, it can be considered to be a common law marriage, and she can be entitled to some of your shit, or half. And believe me, different states and certainly different countries have their different laws on that. So if you guys move in with your girlfriend, which I warn you not to do, pay attention and find out what the law is in your country or state, just to make sure you don't get royally screwed if you break up and she moves out or you move out or whatever. Anyhow, he said my buddy's girlfriend was telling my buddy to go in and get some surgery so she can have a baby. At this time, she had no idea my buddy knew that she had been messing around. She probably wants him to go do what he has to do because obviously he's having a problem down south because she was obviously knew that she was probably pregnant, just didn't know which of the 26 or there was 8 other dudes, 26, 34 different dudes it could possibly be, whose kid it could be. He says, so my buddy, instead of freaking out, came up with a plan, blah, blah, blah. And when he took the garbage out, a pail was knocked out. I skipped a part. Let me go back here. At this time, she had no idea my buddy knew that she'd been messing around. So my buddy, instead of freaking out, came up with a plan because by this time he knew what she'd been up to since the girls' weekend. And when he took the garbage out, a pail was knocked over by animals, and he noticed an EPT box, and in it was an unused test that showed positive for being pregnant. There you go. You see, he's obviously the nice guy boyfriend, and he has resources and he can provide. She wants to keep him around, but she wants to fool around with her Chad and Tyrone biker boyfriend, with her, she obviously has daddy issues, she wants the older guy, and all 26 of his biker friends and other dudes. Cake and eat it too. My buddy realized that what she was trying to do, because she was worried about getting caught, was find a way to make it seem like my buddy at some future time would be the one that got her pregnant. It all started to make sense, the reason she told him to go and get some procedure done so they could have a baby. My buddy planned it well and told her yes, he will book it. During all this time, he did not want to have you-know-what with her and take the chance of catching something. Very smart. Now again, we all say, why didn't he just leave? But okay, that's beyond the point at this point. So he told her that the doctor recommended that he wait till after the procedure before having you-know-what to build up viable sperm. She agreed. About 2 weeks passed, and he had her believe that he went to the doctor, who instead gave him a new drug to try, and if it worked, he'd be able to avoid surgery. He bought some simple caffeine tablets and dumped them in a pill bottle and took the label off, having her believe they did not come from the pharmacy but the actual doctor's office. Well, that's clever. From there, he went on and got a squirting object you can get at certain sex stores. You get the point. With the penis mold from a you-know-what shop, and would have you-know-what in the dark with her using that and have her think it was him inside her, and to do the squirt later to have her feeling at the senses that he went off. Now, I seriously question. I have a very hard time believing that they were getting romantic and they're in the dark, and when they're about to do the business, he quickly grabbed this object, the squirting you-know-what, was using it on her, and there's no way she could possibly know or tell the difference. I seriously question that part. Maybe he's very slick, I don't know, but anyhow, he was pretending to hook up with her, but, you know, About three weeks after a few in the dark, you-know-what, squirting you-know-what sessions, and unloads into her, she went to my friend and told him it worked. She was pregnant. Oh, imagine that. He never would have saw that coming a mile away that she was going to do that. He acted all excited to not let on anything he knew. He was running out the clock, and another 2 months, when she was not home, he packed his stuff and left, leaving a note. As it turned out, he only learned about the biker and the gang something three weeks before he moved out. You know, during this whole thing, you don't hear about him being devastated or anything like that. A lot of these stories, when the guy finds out that this girlfriend or wife or fiance has been doing all these things, you hear a part about him being just devastated and all that. It doesn't seem like this was much of a surprise to him. His brother, working with some guy, was bragging about how a bunch of guys shagged this HOE, a girlfriend of some old biker dude, and they knew and showed him a picture of her getting, you-know-what, with multiple guys lined up. Even told him at least 5, maybe or more guys were invited, customers, that come over from a strip club to have a few drinks and join in on the fun. I told you this is just like he said in the beginning, some Jerry Springer type of stuff. Anyway, it turned out my buddy made sure he stayed in the picture long enough so that she would be over the number of cutoff weeks to ensure that she could not terminate the pregnancy. And today, she has no idea who Daddy is. Could it be 21 plus biker guys, the 5 strip club guys, or the 10 to 12 from the online 8-day sex dates? As it turned out, it would not have been her biker friend. He was fixed, and a reason why she never worried about birth control with him. Until it was far too late when he brought his buddies into the mix and some strip bar customers. Well, that's quite a story. And like I said, there's definitely elements to this that I question. And I made it clear not to go over them again. But again, it's truth is stranger than fiction. But that's some payback. She has no idea who the baby daddy is. But all those dudes, you gotta be shitting me. Unbelievable. But again, truth is stranger than fiction. So, but anyhow, guys, that'd be going to go over as a quick story for you guys that like this crazy stuff. Because, guys, I've been doing this for a year and a half, and believe me, I've done plenty of crazy stories. And there's some weird shit out there, and wacky people, and just the things people do to each other. It's unbelievable. So, for you relationship guys out there, as I say many times, pay attention to the red flags. And even if you don't see any red flags, pay attention anyway, because you never know what's going on. So, alright guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below, let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.